has been in the school or in the university for close on to 22 years, Fred? Yes. And I just wanted to give a context. Because if we just say 22 years, it sounds like just a number. But to give context to what can happen in 22 years, someone will start from primary school, finish, get to high school, finish, and then get to university. That's how long Fred has actually dedicated part of his life to this university and to the school. So those 22 years have been 22 years of hard work. And in Fred's own words, I know he was a fan of the phrase, hard yards. You need to do your hard yards. You need to earn your stripes. And that's what describes Fred. He's very hardworking. When I first encountered working with him, or started working with him, you could see that even from the pace when he's walking, he is determined to get to where he wants to get to. So for all the hard work, the dedication, Fred, it has never gone to waste. You left the school in a very healthy position. And when I took over from you, it was an easy job for me because I took over a solid school, and it was much easier for me to actually steer the school on a growth trajectory because of the hard work, the hard yards that you had actually put in.
You've made a huge contribution to not only Wits University, to industry, to institutions, and into the lives of many, many people. So I think that is really an outstanding contribution for which we thank you. The other things that I would like to laud you for, Fred, is the way that you tackled your PhD. It was absolutely fantastic. And I've just finished giving the mineral economics course again. And one of the things that I always point the students to is firstly the way that you undertook that research into mining rents, and the way that you contributed to that book on mining royalties. So those were, I mean, they were outstanding pieces of research and documentation and everything, and I still use them. We still go back to them every year. There's stuff embedded in there that just irreplaceable, and really appreciate that from you. The other thing was the way that you led us all as the head of school. You did a fantastic job. It was really a superb time in the life of the school, and I really thank you for that. I think one of the best things that ever happened was that Fred bought a cappuccino machine. Now, you might not understand the benefits of a cappuccino machine, but let me tell you, it lifted the morale in the school to new levels. You could go downstairs, get your cappuccino, and chat to your colleagues. It was fantastic. So never underestimate the power of the cappuccino machine. Fred, thank you for that. That was something really wonderful.
We are immensely grateful for the important contribution that you have made towards professionalizing and modernizing the mining industry, and would like to share with you my best wishes for a well-earned retirement. Thank you, Fred.
First of all, I need to explain to you what this whole thing of second life means. Those of you who know me well will know that I have a strong bond with Japan, with a university there in particular that I'm working with, who's on mining robotics, and digital mining stuff. And the Japanese have this issue of second life. And your second life, according to the Japanese, starts at the age of 60. Then what the second life means is that you have your first life, where you have the opportunity to make some mistakes. And you must make your mistakes. And believe me, I have made many. But that's why you need the second life. Because in the second life, it's about more doing good than making, is to do good in life. And for me, it is an important thing. So we have been talking for a few years already in the Cawood household on the second life and how to prepare for the second life that starts at 60. For those, my birthday is in December. And about 8 days before my birthday, I wrote that letter to the dean of the faculty to say I want to start my second life. And what it means in the language that we use at university, you need to apply for early retirement. I will be the first one to say that I gave 110%. And it will be difficult now in the new life to scale down to somewhere like 10 to 20%. As a visiting professor. But there are other demands on my time because you need to do good in your second life too. The students played soccer when I was head of school. But so we thought, okay, why don't we start a rugby team? And so we needed a coach. So I said, okay, I'll be the coach. We only won one game. And that was the first of the season. In the second game, we only had 13 players because we had to play like against health sciences. You know, that's half the Wits team. So the students got fewer and fewer, and at the end of it, they said, no, Prof, I had enough of this tackling. But it was nice. And the choir, then the students came to see me and said, look, what about the choir? I said, no, you're going a bit too far now. What will the old boys say if I tell them? You know, I still have difficulty in telling them and convincing them why we must have female students in the school. Now you come and say we must do a choir. But the choir was actually a big hit. But I think the biggest hit that gave me much pleasure was when on sports days we introduced the board games. And I promise you, at the chess games, there were more shouting around the chessboard than on the soccer field. So these were actually some very nice, and it's important because in the School of Mining Engineering, and I'm sure it's still the same way, only 30% of our students came from inside Gauteng. So what do? So you need to organize board games. You need to do things so that they can get the family sense of being together and doing fun things, because otherwise they will get into no good things. So I often think affectionately back to my days in the School of Mining. Dick is actually proof that someone cannot just leave the school, because he retired a long time ago. And I see he's still marking papers and still lecturing. So it's hard to leave the school. The School of Mining gets to you. It gets into you, and it becomes part of you. And before you know it, it sucked you into everything it's doing. So, and it is nice. And it is one of the reasons why the School of Mining has such a big, high reputation and is one of the best schools internationally. And I do think it's because of the old people like Professor Phillips, who's still involved, still supervising students. And that is why it is great.